Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday and welcome to Virtual Veg Fest Live. Today, we are fortunate enough to have a cooking demo, which I'm so excited about because last time the cooking demo didn't work out. So this time it's definitely going to happen because we've been practicing for 20 minutes. So let's talk about Virtual Veg Fest for a second and suggest that you go to YouTube and you subscribe to our Virtual Veg Fest channel because everyone who subscribes to our Virtual Veg Fest channel is going to be entered into a contest to win a gift pack from either Follow Your Heart, Crafters Organics, or Hodo Foods. And we can do these monthly. So we would love to see our subscribership go up. And also, if you join our mailing list for Virtual Veg Fest, you can also be entered into win one of those prizes. So please go do that. And of course, while you're there, shop our vendors because, that's the whole thing. So thank you to Plant Based Network, who's our partner, and to Crafters Organics for sponsoring our lives this week. And let's talk about our cooking demo. So excited. Shobha is somebody that I met in Atlanta when I was going for my training for ethical choices program. I actually stayed in her house, which is really cool. It's a beautiful house. It was very comfortable. I stayed in the basement. And, a bunch of people that I ended up becoming very close with because it's boot camp when you go through the training for that program. She has started a food service business where she's preparing food and plant-based food that she is selling to her community, which is really cool. So she's got that going on as well. And I saw this and I said, hey, you know what? Let's do a cooking demo. I mean, why not, right? So Indian food, delicious, one of my favorite things. Today, it's going to be a vegan chicken curry, which it's gonna be really cool. And I'll let Shobha share like what the secret ingredient is because it's not chicken and it sounds like it's still gluten free and it sounds like it's still plant based for anyone who's interested. And she's an absolutely wonderful person. When I MC in Atlanta every year, I see her. I saw her in the room last year, which was cool. It was a nice surprise that she was just standing there. I was like, I know you. So I'm going to throw it at Shobha so she can share a little bit more about herself and what she started in the Atlanta community and more about what the cooking demo is, and then we'll get started. Go ahead, Shobha.
Cool. Thank you so much, Helene. When Helene reached out to me, I was all excited about presenting for Veg Fest here for Tri-State Veg Fest. So it's an honor and a privilege to be here and present. And like Helene introduced, I'm Shobha Swamy, and I live here in Alpharetta, Georgia, one of the suburbs of Atlanta, the northern suburbs. And I have been a vegan for more than 8-9 years. I've lost count now. The girls, my daughters, brought home veganism after watching the movie Food Inc. And they absolutely had us convinced that that we should not be part of. We were vegetarians to begin with. We were born and raised as vegetarians, all of us, including the girls. But dairy was our biggest, go-to for every meal. So once we figured out how to make yogurt without cow's milk, we were all on board. All of us just signed up, and my mother as well, 75 years old, all of us signed up, and we were on the vegan wagon. There was no turning back after that. But about 5 years ago, I've gone completely plant-based, oil-free, all of that. And I have a certificate from T. Colin Campbell Center for Nutrition Studies, like many others, I'm sure, here. And I also am a cooking instructor through the Food for Life program organized by PCRM, Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, based out of Washington, D.C. And I love to cook. I've cooked all my life, made lots of food for all of us because everywhere we went out, we carried our own food. Every school gathering, every cross country meet, I would carry my huge big taco salad, and the three of us would first sit down, and all of us would eat to our heart's content, and then we would be ready to socialize. People would wonder, these people are bringing their own food and then enjoying it so much and then eating it, and then they're good to go because there was even anything else, there was half the things we couldn't eat. So we are so used to cooking a lot of the foods that we get outside in our homes. And traditionally, I come from the subcontinent of, India. and born and raised there. So our food lends itself really well both to veganism, vegetarianism as well. So predominantly everybody in India who's born and brought up in India already are vegetarians in mind and vegetarians at heart. So that switch is very easy. And then the veganism is just one more degree of depth of knowledge in terms of why we do what we do, obviously. So having said all of this, I love to cook, and we've started this new meal service to showcase to people how to incorporate lots of vegetables in your food or diet or nutrition plan. That's the goal. That's the entire goal of Annapurna Holistic Nutrition. I promote holistic nutrition, not just food and nutrition through the foods that we consume, which is 80%, but the rest of the 20% is important as well. 15 to 20% are mental health, or emotional well-being, physical health, all of this. So everything put together. I am a certified yoga instructor. I teach yoga and meditation here in the Alpharetta area for anybody who's interested and anybody who would like to sign up. And I do cooking classes through Morehouse School of Medicine alongside Dr. Jennifer Rook. We run a 12-week program, and I, volunteer to cook as much as I possibly can. Yesterday, we had a live demo for Dr. Rook and for Morehouse School of Medicine. Other than that, I do cooking and nutrition classes out of my home here and now online. So these are all the couple of things that I do in the background. And I love the fact that people can in the Alpharetta and Atlanta area can come and buy the food and learn how to eat whole foods, plant-based, how to eat more vegetables, how to incorporate more vegetables in your food. So my latest thing that I have, as I've evolved on this journey, the latest thing that I have found is a good rule of thumb to go by is to check how much vegetables have you consumed today. Is it 1 pound? We should be talking in pounds, not in ounces. So is it been 1 pound or 2 pounds? 2 pounds is the ultimate goal. If you're consuming 2 pounds of vegetables every single day, that's what will promote health. So that's what will give us enough antioxidants, the nutrients, the supplements, all of that. And alongside that, the grains, the whole grains, and the beans and the lentils, of course. But the vegetables are our focus because we can reverse a lot of chronic conditions, a lot of chronic diseases through consuming more vegetables. And all of us know quite a bit about that. If you've been following, Tri-State Veg Fest all these years, you've
It's
heard a lot of
triangle.
things.
Just so you know,
Yeah,
Shobha, it's Triangle
it's
Veg
Triangle
Fest.
Veg Fest. Okay, so Triangle Veg Fest
Tri-State Veg Fest is something else.
is somewhere else, I'm
Go
assuming.
ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yep.
sorry about that. So
It's okay.
we can get started today on cooking up a curry. It's chicken curry, but unchicken, not really chicken. And so I'm excited to showcase this as well because I've really never tasted chicken, so I really don't know how it's supposed to taste. But I know everybody loves curry chicken, so that's the dish that I've picked for our demo today. And without further ado, I can get started. Um, are we waiting for questions now or later? Are people signed in?
Well, there are definitely people watching. So I just want to say to everyone, if you're watching, please let us know that you're here. Let us know where you're from. If you have any questions while we're going through this, please type them. I will make sure that Shobha knows that you've asked a question about either what she's doing or who she is or what she can do if you're in Atlanta. So we're going to have Shobha start the demo, and I will definitely let you know if there's any questions that come through as you
Sure,
go through. Awesome.
absolutely. So I'm assuming that everybody can hear me.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And for the most part, you can see me. Should I get any closer, Ellie? Would
No,
that help?
I think that's good right there because we lose some of your tray if you get too close. Okay. No, that's
Okay,
good. I like it.
good. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Cool. Yeah, we tried to do some overhead cams, but they didn't work. So I'll show you exactly what I'm doing and how I'm going about doing this. I have a great setup here in the basement. It's hangout time, and I can do whatever I need to do here, and without having to disturb the rest of the family. So I'll walk you through the basic makeup of a curry dish, and it's pretty versatile. So I'll show you how we make the sauce for the curry, and that you can extrapolate to, vegetables, to something like mock meats, chicken, seitan, any other tofu, any other vegetable, or ingredients of our choice. So I'll show you the basic building blocks. So I have about little over 2 cups of. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I always think that I'm having my overhead. So I have about 2 cups of red onion chopped. For the purposes of our demo, I have partially sauteed it, right? And then I have the same equal quantity of tomatoes, finely chopped tomatoes, and I'll be sauteing that. I have garlic, chopped garlic, ready to go. No dish would be complete without, spicy green chilies that's available in the Indian store, chopped up, ready to go. And then I have ginger here, ready to go. So these are the building blocks. Onion and garlic, they kind of go together. Then you have your tomatoes. Then you have, for spice, you have green chilies, chopped up fine. And then ginger, chopped up fine. Okay. So we'll just test out this thing if it's hot. Yep, it's nice and hot, sizzling hot. So I would always start with the onions. Saute the onions to a nice caramelized brown. I hope these gadgets here are not making too much noise and crowding out my voice.
No, you're good, Shobha. Now, can you explain that you're cooking with water and not oil?
Yes, I'll do that in just a bit. So
Okay.
I did not add anything to the pan as yet, just the onions. And if it gets to, I have water in this little jar, and typically I also have a small cup that I fill with water here. See, water. And I have a spoon here going. So just grab a little bit and just sprinkle around, just so it doesn't stick to the pan. Also, alternately, don't ever cook on high, so you can reduce the heat just a tad. Okay. So
And you can cook.
I do oil-free cooking, so it's just a tad of water, just a few drops here and there. Yeah, see, you can hear it. That's all we add.
And you can
So
use veggie stock as well, not just water, if you choose, right?
yes, Kelly.
You can use veggie stock as well, right?
Yes,
Yep.
absolutely, absolutely. You can use veggie stock. You can use, yeah, absolutely. So my onions, they take a little while, but they're nice and caramelized and nice and browned up. So right alongside that, I would add a little bit of garlic. Just make sure that it doesn't get stuck to the pan. You put just a little bit of water. So this, I would probably put a whole tablespoon of garlic, and if you like more garlic, be my guest, add as much. Most of the flavors that we use in our cooking are customizable to your personal palate, the palate in your home, and the spices and the condiments that our families like. So feel free to adjust to keep it all together. And as soon as I add the tomatoes, they're going to have give out a lot of water. So onions and garlic, just saute it a little bit until they're slightly brown. Then you add all your tomatoes. Okay, these are just chopped Roma tomatoes, equal quantities of onion and tomatoes. And the tomatoes give out enough water that they'll, that it keeps from sticking to the pan. And now you can adjust all your spices. If you feel like adding more garlic, feel free. The onions and the garlic and the tomatoes, they are the ones that make up the basic building blocks of any curry, especially chicken curry. And that seems to be everybody's favorite at the Indian restaurants. So that's the dish that I picked for today. And it gave me a challenge as well because I haven't made this quite often before. So I had to just practice and get things going just for the show, special. So I think I would like a little more garlic. So here I'm adding another, perhaps half a tablespoon of garlic. There you go. So I have really chopped garlic, chopped ginger, and some of these condiments I have ready to go. So what I do is typically chop up my garlic and then I freeze it in ice cube trays. But I see now that both at Kroger and at Trader Joe's and stores like this, you get little cubes of frozen garlic, cubes of frozen ginger, and as these the tomato, onion, garlic are coming together, and the water from the tomatoes is almost gone, huh? I'm going to add a bit of my chopped green chilies. So just rinse it all out nicely and add all of it that's here. And we like our spicy. So adjust this spice to what your family likes. If you have kids, you can, pare it down. Or you can take out a portion for them. So there's many choices. If you want it mild, if you want it spicy, you can adjust the spices here. And then I'm going to add chopped ginger. I had this in the freezer ready to go. And ginger is what gives it a whole lot of flavor. So just like garlic, adjust the amount of ginger that you like. And there are multiple ways of making this gravy as well. The building blocks are the same. You could leave them as tiny chopped pieces of onion and tomatoes. Or right now, you could, once they're all sauteed and mixed up really well, you could puree all of this and make a nice sauce out of it as well. So it's just an individual preference as well as time constraints and how much time you can spend in the kitchen. You can go either way. And then there's a variation. Some days you can make it this way without having pureed it. And some days you can puree all of it and make it into a nice creamy paste. So the choice is all yours, and it really doesn't have to be, it's just what you prefer at home and what the kids prefer, what your family prefers. So just pick something that, that is, that everybody likes at home. So the goal of plant-based cooking and plant-based food is not so much focusing on the foods that we don't eat, but really bringing out the flavors in the foods that we are already used to, in the flavors that we are already used to, and those that are your family favorites. So focus on your family favorites. That's what I tell everybody coming on board. And the foods that you love, we'll just figure out how to find substitutions for the foods that you so love and keep your family favorites going. Just, veganize them, no animal products, no oil. Just two things to keep in mind. Those are the only two things to keep in mind. So it's easy. I can smell the onions and the garlic is smelling really good here. Unfortunately, we don't have an overhead cam. I would show you my spice box. There you go. I'm assuming you can see some of this, right? There you go. Can you see this?
Yep. Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So this is just red chili powder, dried red chili powder. This is coriander seeds or cilantro seeds powder. And this is cumin dry roasted and powdered. And these are just lentils, and this is roasted cumin. And then we usually have our turmeric as well. One of those containers is missing in my box, and I have to find out. It must have walked away somewhere. So we would put a little bit of turmeric as well. And good to go. Yeah, the turmeric adds not just flavor, color, all of these things. And it's very good for health. And many of the condiments that we use in Indian cooking have medicinal properties as well. So turmeric is an antibacterial, antiseptic. It can be used on bruises and cuts. It can be used as a rooting compound for propagating, plants. It's versatile. So having had this ready, too bad you can't see. Maybe I can lift up my camera and show you just the consistency that this has come to. Let me just do that. Maybe you guys can see. There you go.
Oh, that's great.
Right?
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So this is the consistency it's come to. And now it's asking me to. So now I would add now is the, okay, there you go. So I'm going to grab this packet of, okay, here's the surprise. So the substitute for chicken that we're using today, vegan substitute, is
Oh, that's weird. Shobha, can you hear me? Shobha? Okay. I don't know if she realizes that we have gone dark. Let me see what I can do. Because she's just going to keep going while I'm here in the dark. So, again, middle of the thing PSA. On Sunday, July 5th, we have Ben Strothman, who's also known as Honey Banks, who will be with us at 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time for a talk about finding your favorite vegan job, which is really cool because he's also a lot of fun to hang out with and talk to. So I'm super excited about that. If you don't know Ben or if you don't know who Honey is, go check them both out. Honey LeBronx is in New York City. So I'm hoping that Shobha will realize because we might get back to her and she might have finished the dish. So, because I'm not sure why this went black. There must have been something on her screen that made it go black. She had just looked at it and there was something going on. So hopefully someone in her house is watching and can let her know that this has happened because I have no way to get in touch with her outside of sending a message on Facebook, which I'm not sure she will see because her screen should show black though, and that, well, it might not on her end show black. So I'm not sure because I obviously can't hear her or see her right now. All right, this is fun. It's always fun to go live. And you never know what'll happen. Normally it's the dogs, right? And not, a black screen, the black screen of death on a computer. So, uh, what else should we talk about? Which is weird. It's like I said, it's not normally me in here. And Plant Based Network. Plant Based Network has a new magazine, a digital magazine that you can go and see on plantbasednetwork.com. You can actually download it. There's a little download button if you go into the screen. But first, to get access to the Plant Based magazine, the Spotlight magazine, you have to become a plant based fan, which isn't a terrible thing to do because it's fan clubs around the world that support plant based. I mean, win win, right? If you don't know about Plant Based Network, you can watch 24/7 everything plant based comedy, cooking shows, travel shows, exercise, cartoons for kids, pretty much anything that you could possibly want in regards to plant based. It has been created, and that has been around since August. And now it's, I don't know what it is now. Oh, it's gosh, 10 months later, 11 months later, it's almost a year old. You can watch, everything plant based 24/7, which is really cool. And of course, Virtual Veg Fest, you can shop our vendors. And if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you'll be entered to a contest for a raffle for a monthly prize from either Hodo Foods, Follow Your Heart, or Crafters Originals, or Crafters Organic. And Crafters Organic is the presenting sponsor of our lives this week. And I do not know what to do to get Shobha back because I'm not sure she understands that she's gone. And this honestly kind of sucks because it was pretty cool. So the surprise ingredient, just remember because it was really a cliffhanger there. Because the surprise ingredient that made everything go black is jackfruit. So she's using jackfruit in replace of the curry, in place of the chicken, for making it plant-based. And it looks like she bought the jackfruit frozen, probably from an Asian store, or I don't know if Trader Joe's has that. So you can buy it and you can use it in your dishes. That looks like a really easy way to use it too, because normally it's in a can and then you have to clean it. And so that looks like it's ready to go and ready for her to put into the pan, which is great. And then, oh, all right. I'm sure she'll be back in a second because she went away and then she'll come back. Here she comes.
I'm back again.
Okay. Yeah, that was fun. So it was like a real cliffhanger actually, because just as you were going to say what the secret ingredient was, the screen went black.
Not for me. Oh
Yeah,
no.
we didn't hear you, we didn't see you, we didn't see anything.
Oh,
From that point when you ripped open the package, nothing.
Oh, I can redo it. No worries. I can go back and
True cliffhanger. I was like, the secret ingredient is jackfruit.
No worries. The secret ingredient. I know I kept talking. I did the whole talking. I didn't know. Because
We
for
know.
me, the thing didn't go up. So what I use today is the raw jackfruit cut into cubes. This is available at most Indian grocery stores. And we've always been, even before we became vegan and other things, we used to make curry out of this, and we make a pilaf out of it. We make a biryani out of it with rice and all of that. So this is available at the grocery store, at Indian grocery stores in a frozen pack all the time. It's about 11 ounces. And what I did here was, once all the spices came together for the sauce, I opened up this packet from the freezer directly to the freezer, right into the pan, and let it cook in the sauces right here. So make sure that there's enough water so it doesn't burn. But other than that, you don't have to do much. Let it all cook and make sure that all the spices come together. I added a little bit of salt. That's all I did. And I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of water here. It's getting a little dry, so just added a little bit of water, rinsed out one of those cups that had some spices in it. So these are nice. They look like pieces of chicken, and they'll thaw while they cook. And I'll bring the camera close by so that you can see. So it's caramelizing a little bit at the bottom, so which is not too bad a flavor. So I might add a couple more tablespoons of water. Maybe I sauteed the tomatoes just a wee bit more. I could have left some of the water, looks like, but no problem. So let it simmer for a few minutes, and all the spices will come together. So if you have any questions about, and another thing I was mentioning was, this can be served with just plain rice, over a bed of rice, and a bed of greens. You can serve this with tortillas, with Indian rotis, parathas, anything that you like to make at home or buy from the stores. Most of the rotis and parathas are all vegan. They have a little bit of oil in them, but they're all vegan. And you can, eat it with tortillas, different kinds of tortillas available at the grocery store. So many choices of how you can serve this.
Right. You can also use chickpeas instead of jackfruit.
Yes, you may. You
Right.
can also use chickpeas. You can use kidney beans, any other beans of your choice, lima
Tofu,
beans, black
right?
eyed peas. Yep, any
Yep,
one of
tofu.
those.
Yep, tofu, tempeh. Very
Tofu,
versatile.
tempeh,
And you can,
seitan, anything.
yep. And what's it called? Oh, what are they called? The soy curls. The soy
Edamame.
curls.
Soy
The soy
curls,
curls would be
edamame,
great
soy
too.
curls. Yeah, any one of those. And a combination too. You could even put a bunch of veggies. You could just put a bag of frozen veggies, stir fry veggies, any kind of veggies. Yep,
Yep, to get your
cauliflower,
pound of veggies.
broccoli. Yeah, they
Yep.
take on the spices that we add to this spice paste. So all the veggies will just soak it all up. So it's amazing. In fact, it tastes better the next day once the spices have all had the time to marinate and come together, and the vegetable pieces or the tofu or whatever we add absorbs all the spices. Definitely tastes better the next day or a few hours later.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
Sorry, Marshall wanted to make an appearance today.
I know,
so
cutie.
sometimes he's more needy than other days, So today's one of those days where he's just like, I want to be on camera.
Good. He gets to be on camera.
Yes, yeah, it's my baby.
Cutie.
Yeah, thank you. So let's talk about what you're doing in your community by providing the food choices that tell people about what you're doing, because I think that's great,
Sure.
and how they can
Sure.
order if they're local. So
Sure. So I can type in the chat box perhaps
yep.
my the name of my website. You can go check me out. Um, and Helene can share my phone number perhaps. Um, and other than the fact that we do provide meals, this is a new service that just started about 6 weeks ago. So we're all getting settled and getting comfortable with picking menu choices and doing different things and seeing what people need. So we'd love to spread the word out in the community, in the Atlanta community, where people can come and pick up their food. There's delivery options available as well. And other than that, it's called Annapurna Meal Service, or you can go to the website, which is called annapurna-nutrition.com. And I wish I could type here, but whatever reason, it's not giving me a cursor to type. So maybe I can share that with you later. Other than that, one other thing that we've really been looking forward to for the past year or so is working with disadvantaged communities in the Atlanta area. So I have a group of Whole Foods plant-based support group, that where we all support each other, and we are about 125 members here. And so many of us would like to volunteer in the Atlanta area to teach people how to eat this way, how to cook this way, and then how to reverse their health conditions and to just have vibrant health for children, for adults, for everybody alike. So, if there are any opportunities that people know of, and if you can make connections, help me make connections in this area and in the community, that would be really appreciated, because our support group, I've talked to people there and they would love to come once a month, and we would have cooking demos, cooking shows, and then showcase all the different lentils from the Indian store. The rice, we have at least, I think, 20-30 different varieties of rice at the Indian store. So we would like to bring some of that, showcase all the different colored lentils that we can, spice up in different ways. So we can so that's an opportunity I'm looking forward to and waiting for it to happen. So, you know, yeah, it's cooking up really well, and it's all coming together well. Takes about 10 minutes since it was all frozen, you know, so to soften and for all the spices to be absorbed. Yeah, it's come together really nicely. So at this stage, way at the end, is when I would taste everything, and then I would adjust the spices. Huh? So now I'm adding just like a quarter of a teaspoon of chili powder. You can add more or less. Mine is a really spicy kind, because at our home we like really spicy food. And then 1 teaspoon perhaps of cilantro seed powder. We call it coriander seed powder. And then 1 teaspoon of cumin powder. Adjust these spices. If you like cumin more, add more of that. If you like, to spice it up more, add a little bit of that. So adjust it to your liking and that of your family. And it should all come together really, really well. Should have some amount of liquid left at the bottom. And the other thing you probably missed when I was presenting and we got cut off was the fact that um, this gravy I was telling you, we could use a stick blender and grind it to a paste, or we could leave it, in small chunks like this. It's cut very fine to begin with. So you could either leave it on its own as it is, or you could puree it to a nice smooth consistency if that's the kind you like in your home. So this is very customizable. And once you learn the building blocks of making any curry dish, the possibilities are endless. You can even add vegetables to this. Even though this is a chicken curry, you could absolutely add vegetables to this. I've got some chopped spinach that I've kept aside because, like I said, I want to help incorporate as much vegetables as possible into every dish. So we could potentially add any vegetables as well. Doesn't have to be just plain chicken curry, though the people who are used to it may like it that way. But feel free to add spinach, potatoes, just about anything. Possibilities are endless. So
No,
let your
that sounds great.
imagination go wild. Yes,
Yeah,
Helen.
that sounds great. I mean, it really, really does. So, locally, you've got Dustin Harder in the Atlanta community now. Do you know who he is?
No, I don't.
So he moved there from New York City. We did a live with him months ago. So you want to check it
Mhm.
out. But he's there, and I feel like, if I recall correctly, that he is doing something by preparing food for people potentially. But he would be a great person to touch base with because he's there now. He has done a cooking demo at the Atlanta Veg Fest at least 2 years in a row because I he was in the room that I was in,
Mhm.
and he's also on the Plant Based Network. So I would definitely reach out to him. Lee from Atlanta Veg Fest. She could probably hook you
Mhm.
up with him if I can't because she's there too. And Lee also, the Atlanta Veg Fest people will probably be great to touch base with for that local community
Mhm.
to try to reach out to the people who could need more in regards to learning how to eat plant-based or just need food and
Yeah.
healthy plant-based food that would be the most nutritious thing that you can give to somebody who's hungry, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Yep. And then in Atlanta, this is something I like to talk about because I've talked to people all over the country. You've got great restaurants in Atlanta. Any shout outs to some of them? Because I know I have my favorites, but do you have any of yours?
We have Avocado Vegan Cafe right around the corner from my house, and that's the one we frequent a lot. It's convenient, it's close by, and Godfrey's a good friend of ours. So we just love to go there, and that's a good, it's a small cafe, more like a cafe than a whole, sit down restaurant type of thing. And it's amazing. It's just amazing. And there's Loving Hut not too far from here that we like to frequent quite a bit. Other than that, they have V Green around this area.
Mhm.
They have Vito's. Um, and then what's the other one? Peace Love Pizza has a lot of vegan options around this area. Um, of course, there's lots of other places that I probably don't know. There's one really nice small cafe kind of thing. What is it called? Um, Flavor Juicery.
Okay.
Um, is just nearby. His wife reversed some major health conditions, so he gave up his IT position and started two locations in Johns Creek of this smoothie bowls, basically. But they have some small sandwiches and small things on the side as well. So shout out to all of these area restaurants in the Alpharetta area that come to mind. Yes.
Yeah, some of those are my favorite. Loving Hut is my first destination that I hit when I get to Atlanta. Very happy that the Veg Fest moved to your side of town from the other side because I would
Yes.
still make the 40-minute drive from the other side of town. There's no way to go through, you have to go around. And then
Yes.
V Green is
Yummy
tops. It
food.
is, yeah,
Not
very
just the
it
food, yeah, their whole philosophy, their,
yep.
it's amazing. It's heartwarming that they're in our area. Yeah. And one thing I wanted to add about Loving Heart is that many of their dishes, they can make oil free as well.
Oh,
I've
nice.
requested them to make oil free, like for example, the noodles and things like that. They do accommodate and they do make it oil free.
Oh, that's fantastic. And
Yeah.
just so people know, just because you don't have oil and you limit or eliminate the salt from your food and sugar, it doesn't mean that the food doesn't taste well. It means
Mhm.
the food can be absolutely delicious. All those flavors that you put into that, you will not miss the salt. I mean, if you're a
Exactly.
saltaholic, you'll probably miss the salt. But the more often that you make foods with less salt and less sodium, the more you won't miss it at all.
And more the flavors will come out of the spices that you use and the condiments that we use and all the and the vegetables themselves. You can really get to taste the vegetables, other than if you're used to too much salt, then that's the only taste that you taste. But when you lower the salt content in your food, you can taste all the vegetables, the naturally occurring salts in the vegetables, and the naturally occurring vitamins and all the tastes in the vegetables, all the different taste buds. Yep.
No, that's great. So the recipe
Hmm.
takes how long to fully cook?
About 25 to 30 minutes.
25 to 30 minutes, right?
Hmm.
And then
Hmm.
let's go over what was in it so people who just showed up now or didn't possibly follow
Sure.
along are the black screen of death. So we
Sure.
started we're doing a water-based sauté, right? Which is,
Exactly.
the water is what makes it so it doesn't stick. And that's
Hmm.
really important because I do the same thing at home. I just add a little bit more water, a little bit more water so that it keeps
Hmm.
moving. I still stick stuff to the bottom of the pan, but
Hmm.
that's, it happens and it tastes good
Hmm.
anyway when you have the sticky stuff. So you have the water, so you have the onion that you sauteed, then you added garlic,
Yeah, I
then
added the garlic and then I added the tomatoes as well.
tomatoes.
So you get a little bit of moisture from the tomatoes. They're Roma tomatoes, chopped up really fine, and equal parts onion and tomato. So I used approximately a little over 2 cups of onions, and so the same amount of tomatoes. So saute the two together really nicely till the tomatoes are well cooked and they come together really nicely in a sauce. At this stage, you can blend the sauce with a stick blender or in a regular blender, whatever you or in a food processor, whatever you have available, or you could leave it, slightly chunky like that. And then I added a couple of spices of ginger and crushed green chilies. This is a staple in all Indian homes, the crushed green chili. So we have, bunches of green chili and in our refrigerators all the time. So basically, it's finely chopped green chili. So you really don't bite into the spice where it explodes in your mouth, but you get the flavor of the spice when you chop it really fine, and it gets incorporated into the entire dish. So once the sauce is ready, then you can add any of your vegetables or tofu or this green jackfruit or raw jackfruit, as it's called, pieces of it to mimic chicken. You could use tofu and all the list of ingredients that we went over. You could just use plain vegetables or a bunch of vegetables as well. The flavors really blend together really well. And once they all come together and they cook really well, all you do is sprinkle a little bit of the other dry spices that I mentioned, the cilantro powder that we have. You get it at all Indian stores. Sprinkle a teaspoon of that, teaspoon of cumin powder, and a little bit of red chili powder just to add a little more heat. Uh, and if you want it mild, then you can just skip that. So I can hear it sizzling. So I just want to make sure that it's all together and not getting stuck to the bottom of the pan. So it's come together really well. And I can show you a picture of this. And I could do a taste test for you since you can be doing it here. We can share this food with you. So first, let me show you how it's all come together. And then we can do, there you go.
Wow, looks
Maybe I
great.
can bring it all the way over. Yeah. So it's come together really well. And it'll taste really good with any kind of uh, rice or tortillas. I'm going to turn it all the way off, and do a taste test before I let me get grab a small piece of this. I don't do very well with very hot food, so I'm going to let it sit here for a bit and cool off, and then I'm going to come back and taste it. I've just got a spoonful of it here. So, and I'll let you know how it tastes, but it's smelling really good, really inviting. Too
That's what I figured.
bad
I
we
could.
can't.
I'm sure the smell is absolutely incredible.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
My whole basement smells like this the whole time, you know.
Yeah.
So since I do most of my cooking here, so this is smelling really good today, and I would encourage you to make it, try it out. If you have any questions, give me a shout out. I can share my phone number here with you. For whatever reason, uh, I can't type for whatever reason. Host chat. What is host chat?
You want to be in the public chat,
Oh, I want to be in the public
and
chat.
you want to click in the little square at the bottom.
Yeah, that's exactly what's not happening. There's two lines there, and won't let me click, but let me click in the host chat and see if I can click there. No, it's not even switching. Type something, it says here. See? Let me see what I can type.
Okay.
Hello. So maybe you can cut and paste it there if you can see that. Can you see that?
I can. If you want to type your website and your phone number, I'll be more than happy to copy and paste them.
Okay.
Now, I stayed in that basement, just so everybody knows. And I'm pretty sure when we stayed in your house that you made vegan yogurt. And I think that
Yes.
might have been one of the first times. I feel like because it's been a while now. It was new to you. I feel like it was new to you then,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
right?
absolutely. We had just figured it out. We have a friend of ours who also turned vegan, and he's a PhD in chemistry. So we gave him the homework of figuring this out in the kitchen of, what kind of ingredients need to go together to make, vegan yogurt. And now I even make yogurt to sell because there are so many people who want this yogurt because it doesn't have any additives. I buy West soy milk that is made of only two ingredients, soy and water, like and it's very very easy to make, easy to set. It's a very simple process and a procedure. Microwave it for 3 minutes, add your culture, stir it nicely, set it in a warm dark place. 6 8 hours later, there you go, you'll have yogurt.
Right, and
Nice
you were making
thick
it in the
yogurt.
Instant Pot, I'm pretty sure, when we were there.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. The girls were saying we could make it in the instant pot, but back home in India, we make yogurt all the time on a daily basis, and so we're all so used to making yogurt without instant pots and without any of those. I nowadays I just make it in my Pyrex dish, and we just set it in the oven, and it works as good. We don't have to turn on anything. It works
Oh,
just
that's
fine.
awesome.
Hmm.
Okay, that's really cool. Well, I'm really glad that you want to. I can't wait for you to try it. I'm really glad that this has worked out for you because everyone had to pivot to do something else. As I know, I mean, having gone into the classroom like you've gone into the classroom and having schools close and the uncertainty of schools opening because we don't know if that's going to happen.
Hmm.
Even if they do, I wouldn't want to go in and speak to anyone because then you have to be masked. It would be just weird. So
Yeah, I know. I know.
imagine doing that like the whole day, doing for
I
you
think
know.
parents are posed with a very, very difficult decision to make whether to send their kids to school or not. At least here in our county, it's a big dilemma for parents in terms of figuring out whether they want to sign up for virtual classes or in-person classes. So it's a huge dilemma for most parents. So it's tough times to decide and to see what's best for your child and the learning process as well. And for teachers alike, I'm sure schools and administrators have an equally difficult problem, So you're right. I'm glad that I could switch to this in this time and um, during these circumstances, special circumstances.
Right, exactly. So is it cool enough for you to try yet?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
I'm
the
taking a
worst part,
small,
yes.
big, yeah, nice small piece with some of the gravy right along with it. Mmm, it's amazing. Spices are just right, nice and spicy.
Wow. The worst part about these
Yummy.
cooking demos is not being able to try the food.
I
So,
know. You'll have to go by what I say.
right. Right. And and so I would say definitely for the 2021 Atlanta Veg Fest that we should talk to Lee about having you do a cooking demo.
Sure,
I think that would
absolutely.
be great. Yeah, no, I think that'd be a lot of fun. And then you have a whole room of people.
Mm-hmm.
So Shobha, let's wrap this up by
Okay.
we have your website, we have your phone number in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
And is there anything else that you want to share with everyone that what is your here's my question for you to close it out. What is your absolute favorite thing to cook?
My favorite thing to cook is Thai basil fried rice. And a couple of weeks back, we made Thai basil fried rice, and I'm proud to say we incorporated 12 different vegetables. And it's full of flavor, and it's got very few spices to it. It's very simple to put together. And I love to showcase that because the basil is what brings out all the flavor and the freshness of the Thai basil fried rice, and kids and adults alike love it. And it's an awesome dish. It's something that you can freeze and keep ahead of time, like eh, individually rice cooked and the stir fry vegetables separately, and then you can bring it together in just a quickie. So that's my favorite go-to dish that I recommend for everybody as well. So it's got proteins, it's got the carbs, it's got the vegetables. I add edamame and tofu as well. So it just has a burst of flavor, especially during the summertime when people are growing their own basil and things like that. It's wonderful to put together.
Oh, that sounds great. And I guess the most time consuming part is chopping all the vegetables.
Yep. Frozen vegetables to our rescue. So there's,
That's true.
for people who are working, who are short of time, and who find it hard to, buy, shop, clean, cut, chop, and keep it ready. I totally understand because we're doing a lot of that for our meal service. So I totally understand that. So use stir fry vegetables. They're the best. Use frozen vegetables. Use canned beans wherever you can. So, they used already marinated tofu, like at Trader Joe's, they have marinated tofu. So use some of those, the quickies to go to, especially for weeknights, put a meal together. Sometimes you can even pick up just plain brown rice from a Thai restaurant or a restaurant near you. So there's so many different and steamed vegetables, and then you can throw it together in your um, wok, or in just any other kind of a wok, kind of a uh, dish that you in a pan that you have, and then just flavor it with soy sauce and some hot sauce, and you're good to go. So there's many things you can do.
That sounds absolutely delicious. Thank you for sharing that. So for everyone, I hope you enjoyed this cooking demo today and you learned one, if you didn't know jackfruit was a viable option and on a plant-based diet, now you do. And how easy it is to get. You can get it canned, you can obviously get it frozen from the Indian stores. Pretty much in any community that you're in, you'll have Asian stores and Indian stores available. It just might not be on every corner, but you should be able to find one in every city that you're in for the most part, metropolitan wise. And then on Sunday, we have our next talk with Ben Strothman, also known as Honey La Bronx. I'm pretty excited about that. And that'll be at 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And then everyone, I hope you have an awesome 4th of July, social distancing, wearing a mask, staying safe, and doing everything you can so that people don't die, don't get sick, don't get hospitalized, and
True.
therefore we can have events. It's selfish,
Mhm.
I know, a little bit. However, but the way for our vendors and our food service workers and our food vendors and all of that to survive this is for us to get back to having in-person events. It's one of the
Mhm.
best ways for them to make money and for everyone else to
Mhm.
go and spend some money. And one of the ways, the only way that we're going to get there is if people social distance and wear a mask fully over your nose and mouth. I say it every time I do one of these. Please do that because it impacts a lot of people's livelihood, and obviously people want to live through this, and we
Mhm.
want everyone to be healthy. So,
Yes.
be considerate of your fellow humans in addition to
Mhm.
animals on this planet. And by making this dish today, a whole food plant-based dish, you not only save your health, you save the planet, and you save the animals, which is a win-win-win, which we know about having been in the classroom. So, everyone else, have a great holiday. Please be safe. And Shobha, this was wonderful. I look forward to being in Atlanta and seeing you in person. And if I can see you in person, that means I can give you a big hug.
Yes, definitely. And we'll have all your favorite dishes ready, lined up. Okay,
All right,
Helene?
that's awesome. All right, bye
Okay.
everyone. Have a great day.
Bye. Thank you.